So let me give you two massively important things that modern science has taught us about our understanding of the universe. First, that there is an invisible force connecting everything and everyone in the universe, meaning that once two things are connected, they will always remain linked energetically, regardless of the distance between them. Okay, so the second crazy thing that modern science has recently told us is that our 3D reality, our universe, is holographic. Now, what is a hologram? Let's start with that. Okay, if you take a real holographic image and then you cut off a piece of it, you should still be able to see the original image in the smaller pieces as well. So the key is that the fraction always holds the whole image within itself. Now, if you continue doing this, cutting tiny pieces off of the original, even if you do it 1,000,000 times, the whole will always be reflected in the tiny pieces over and over again. This is what holographic means. So, thing number one, everything in the universe, no matter the distance between them, is energetically connected. Thing number two, the structure of the universe has holographic qualities. Now, why do we care? Look, what all this means for us is that everything in every corner of the universe is connected on some almost unimaginable level that we are only just beginning to understand. Bear in mind, these are not ideas or interpretations that I made up myself. This is all based on peer-reviewed science. Okay, so if we can all agree on that, then there is also something else that must be true. And this is the impressive part, so pay attention now. Let's look at humanity as one within this interconnected holographic universe. Now humanity is our whole image. Forget about all the separation and disagreements out there today. Let's just think of humanity as one single entity for a moment. Alright, if we now cut off a tiny piece of this picture of humanity, that is you, by the way, that small individual fraction will also contain and reflect exactly what is going on in the bigger picture. And this is an extremely important principle to understand, because it means that all the separation, disagreements, war, hatred, losses and fear out there will also be reflected in the hearts of every member of humanity. If there is chaos in humanity, there will be some level of chaos in the heart of every member of humanity too. If there is separation, members will feel isolated. If there is war, members will feel there is a war within them. In other words, if the world out there is messed up, we are all a little bit messed up too. Now, is this true or is this just speculation? It's not just speculation. Look around the world right now. Anxiety, depression, suicide, all of these problems are growing, and that's not by accident. These problems didn't even exist before. That's why they are also often referred to as Western world diseases, because we made them happen. So I want you to think for a second about your own personal wars, those within you. The feelings of emptiness, isolation, unworthiness, hatred or self-doubt. Where do you think those emotions are coming from? But I can tell you that right now that they are certainly not indications that there is something wrong with you. In fact, there is nothing wrong with you. We all have to recognize that these feelings are nothing but a reflection of what is going on in the big picture. And the relevance of all this? Well, we can choose. We have the freedom to make this decision and pay extra close attention now. We can continue acting like victims, which is a convenient thing to do anyway, no responsibilities that way. I know this because I used to live and think that way. Or we can do something else. We can decide to change. We can decide to evolve and leave a new footprint in the whole picture in the process of doing so. In other words, we can decide whether we want to be affected by the system or whether we want the system to be affected by us, you and I. Because the reality is that we can go beyond ourselves and evolve by choice, by our own personal decision, and we can start living our personal lives differently. And then by default, this will also be reflected within the big picture, which is humanity now. And every time you do that, every time you go beyond yourself and consciously make a different decision, not only will you be literally upgrading yourself biologically and developing new circuits in your brain, but you'll also be planting a fresh footprint, an advanced level of feedback within the field. So we can choose to be impacted by the whole or to impact the whole by our own personal decision making, simply by deciding to do things differently from now on. And that is what we call human evolution, and that is what is happening across the globe right now. More and more people are waking up and advancing themselves to a higher level, and that is exactly why you are here today. If we decide to be a better person today and evolve on a personal level, financially, spiritually, or whatever is important for you, on some level it will also affect every other members of the system. Then if enough of us do it, and we do it enough times, this civilization can not only be saved, but we will step up into a whole new level of advancement. This is law, and this is evolution. I mean, don't expect from evolution that we will starting to be growing, I don't know, larger heads, or that our skin color is going to turn green or whatever, but the evolution of human at this point is essentially an evolution of human consciousness and the ability to recognize that we have to start working together in harmony and cooperation. So we can settle for being victims of the whole, as people have been doing it for centuries now, generation after generation, or via our own personal evolution, we can become the creators of a new, stronger, more advanced and self-aware system, which is now called by science the Type 1 civilization. And that is exactly what we are going to see happening within our generation's lifetime. And only we are the ones that can create that. And we have to do that right now, because our planet and our civilization are both in danger, as you probably all know that by now. Science has recently declared several independent events happening at the same time today that could possibly end life on Earth, and that's just within the next 100 years. And guess what? All of these things are linked to human activity. So we are now actually being forced to change. We are being forced into evolution. We just have to do things differently from now on. Now here comes the million-dollar question. How can we do that? Well, that's exactly what I'd like to show you, and I'd like to show you that right now. To become a force for positive change in the world today, as well as changing your mindset and starting to make different decisions on a personal level, you will also need these three things, okay? You will need more money, you will need more time, and a little even more money, okay? The combination of these things will allow you to express yourself on a much higher level. I mean, you can have the biggest heart, you can have the best intentions, but if you don't have any money in the Western world, you won't be able to project those out to the world. And the best way to get there is by developing what we call passive sources of income, which is exactly the opportunity that I've created here for you. So I'd like to invite you to join my program, influenced by world-famous teachers like Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, T. Harv Eker, Greg Braden, and many others. But also, additionally, with a specific step-by-step online business setup training. Because you see, in my opinion, changing psychologically isn't enough anymore. We need to take massive, concrete actions, and we need to take them now because we are running out of time. I've been part of many self-transformation programs before, but I've always felt that something was missing, and this is what it is. It's wanting to change and become more energetic and, I don't know, ready to take over the world, but then what's next? What exactly should we do next? And this point is precisely where most people fail, because after the transformation event or the self-help book or whatever, they go back to their old lives, continue with their old routines, and they silently slip back into their old lives. It's like you cannot transform yourself psychologically and then go and have a sandwich, right? There are some massive actions need to be taken. And here, I've also created a system, a business system that you can join immediately and start building up passive sources of income, which will enable you to start making massive differences to the world as well as within yourself. My name is Adam. I'm a performance coach and online marketer. I've been working on this for the past 3 years now, and this system I've created works. And I'd like you to give me a chance to show you that this world, our world, can be changed, can be transformed by us, the everyday people, if we work together. It doesn't matter who you are, how you are feeling right now, how much money you have, your background or anything, you can do this no matter what. In fact, we have to do this. Click below to join my team right now, and I'll give you all the tools you'll need along this journey, and that includes direct personal coaching directly with me. Just you and me, live or on the phone or FaceTime or Skype or whatever you prefer. I'll walk along with you. Hit the sign up button and I'll see you in the other side any moment now. Take care.